Hello and welcome to the channel, everybody. Today finds us staring down the eyes of what is a little concept racer. You'll find this car in the Toyota garage for a vast sum of 200,000 credits. Doesn't seem a lot for what it is, but it is a full-on concept race car. As you can see by the switches on the front panel, the rear wing, the valance. It has everything making it up as a race car, except it's only available in white. It's a perfect base to get a good skin on, but with that being the case, it takes lots and lots of parts. It is called the SFR Racing Concept 16. Let's go and look at the setup. So it comes in at 681.9 pp against a target of 900. We can put softs on if we wanted to, I believe. Fully customizable suspension. Nothing changed. We've got the fully customizable differential, as you can see, set to 555. Downforce is not adjustable. You can't put anything on this car, but from my little test, I don't think you need to. The ECU is fully customizable at 100, so there's no restrictions at all on the car. The brake horsepower comes at 478, so it's not the lightest car in power we've actually used. Fully customizable racing transmission there, set to 300. Medium turbocharger, there isn't a large available. Anti-lag is switched on strong. Intercooler is set to racing, so is air cleaner, silencer and exhaust, and the brake system is fully racing. With that we have the clutch and flywheel at racing and the prop shaft, and then we have every option installed, including the increased body rigidity. Just go and buy them all, folks. It fits underneath the PP target and it doesn't need many changes. This thing I am going to enjoy, I just know it. We've bought the wet tyres, let's go to the track. And here we are at the World Touring Car 700. There aren't many cars that really give me that little, oh, I wonder how it's going to do. Most I'm pretty sure it's going to win. I'm pretty sure this one is going to be close to the fastest car we've used on overall time, I would suggest. Looking at how it works, I'm just guessing it's only going to be weather that's really going to offset the car. As we look through it, we've had no rain in the past hour, and there doesn't seem to be anything at a range of 100 miles, so it's fairly clear. Settings for the race today: assist, traction control 1, default ABS. Active stability management and counter steer assistance on strong. Controller settings: controller steering sensitivity 5, force feedback max torque 5, force feedback sensitivity 6. There's nothing more to be said. Let's get up against this field of GR4s and go and win that money. So first thing, fuel map to 6. We've had a couple of incidents. This is our third restart, purely because we're just getting used to the car. It just likes to float a bit under brakes. If you don't get the weight forward and you don't get the car slowing down, it will catch you out. Accelerates very well. See if we can get past these boys. Mr. Kevlar, ooh, there's a slide. Testing out the grip of these medium tyres already. Get past Mr. Hayward and then we start the long drag down the straight. So it's a very nimble little car. It likes to move. You can nip about with it. Acceleration's pretty decent. Top end lacks a little bit. We're not going to be up in the 200 mile an hour section, but we are able to brake just on the ball of being late. So, but if you do brake later than anticipated, you're going to struggle to slow the car down. Which carries a lot of speed. Now we didn't widen the car up. We didn't put wide wheels or anything like that. We just took it that as a standard race car you can't take anything. When we went down to the auto body shop, there were no additions available. Just get up into 6th gear. Mr. Hazal there just moving over. Get a braking doing. Mr. Sugawara there in 11th place is our target for the end of this straight. Just use Mr. Hazal to get round the corner there. No damage to the car. We're looking for 2.5 at the end of this straight. There's Mr. Sugawara. 2.5 on the fuel gauges there. As we brake, that might come back up just a little bit. Yeah, 2.6 is there. We just keep the guys behind us. Running a bit of a blocking line in the middle of the track, but back on the horses. Into 9th place, 12.86 seconds down. I don't anticipate being at the head of the field at the end of the lap, but I think we could be in 4th or 5th space, I would say. And then we're going to be targeting the full 3 laps. Just going to brake a little bit early for this corner. When the car's got all 4 wheels planted on the ground, it's very good at braking into corners, but when it starts to break free, you're going to struggle with it. Up the inside of the Aston, just touches back wheel. Listen to that engine note. Our blower just covers the sound of the Aston engine. I call it a blower, it's a supercharger really that's called a blower. But turbos do exactly the same thing. They blow air into the engine, but with a different set of physics. This does have a little bit of turbo lag. That's why we use the anti-lag to try and keep the revs up, so we get a better response from the engine. Doesn't feel like we've got as good a response in the lower rev range as we want with this medium turbo. If there was a high power turbo available, that would probably help the early acceleration of the car. Let's get on the brakes and get into 6th place before the end of the lap. Just try and go 3 wide through there. That didn't happen, did it? But we wanted to be in 5th, and we made it. Mr. Kawakami just moving over. We're going to go wide round here, see if he gives us room. He did. So into 4th place. The car turns in very well off the brakes in the later stage of the corner. There was Mr. McEwen racing off into the distance. Or was that Mr. Portilla we saw? They're 13 seconds ahead, so we've got a bit of a chase on here. We're all on the same strategy, I think. 2 stop. Just had to lift the throttle there. Fuel looks good. Mr. Blazan in the Suzuki Swift, not a car not much bigger than this, to be honest. Any cars behind us? Yes, there's 4 or 5. And we can see all the 3 lead cars there just turning into the first chicane. On the brakes at the first of the signs on the right hand side. Feel I can brake a touch later next time round. We might get a little penalty there for overrunning that white line. Yeah, there it is. That's just an inconvenience really. We're just trying to run with no speed drop off there. We lifted off the brakes. We're good. We'll get that. We're not going to lose a massive amount of time for half a second, but we are 12.8 seconds back behind the leader, Mr. McEwen. Going to brake late. Try and gain some of that time back without incurring any more penalties. They are a frustration penalties. We do know better. They're just there to just to let you know that you can't run wide. Track limit penalties is on strong for this race, and now we need to put the rain radar up and start to see if there's any threat of incoming rain. The sky looks nice and cloud free. Oh, and here it is coming in from the north. It looks like we're going to have to pit at the end of lap 2, seeing all that grey on the screen. grey? Green. Coming up behind Mr. Blazan. Highly likely we're going to overtake him, but we'll get a heads up from the guys up front on what they're doing on their pit strategy. The rain is just about to start now. Suzuki Swift is coming back at us just as the rain clouds are about to go overhead. We've got a massive downpour coming. I think I'm going to go into the pits on this lap. I don't think we can. Oh, there's the signs of the wet track, but we're not showing any water. Maybe we just came in there too quickly. It is about to absolutely chunt it down. So we need to dive in the pits and get those wet tyres on. I think that green boundary is going to come right over the top. Look how wet it's got. Incredibly quickly. Let's dive into the pits, take the wets. Mr. McEwen went in, but Mr. Portilla carried on. No, he didn't. He went into the pits as well. So we're going to take full wets and we're going to take all the fuel. So we entered the pits in third place, and it looks like the entire field are coming in. I don't see all the garages out, but I'm sure there will be. We had 1.2 laps of fuel left at that point, so there might be the opportunity to run fuel map 5. Kawakami, Healy, Yamanaka go in front of us. Changing to the wets. I think it's the right thing to do. We'll get better length of tyre wear out of them. We'll take all the fuel and away we go. Mr. Blazan is going to overtake us leaving the pits. There he is. Look how bad that rain is, and it's the right call. Look, Mr. Blazan already going slower. Didn't see what tyres he was on. I just saw him leave the pits with 99% fuel. We're 27 seconds off the leader, so we lost some 13 seconds to the leaders there. But my guess is if they're not on some form of wet tyre, they're going to significantly struggle. The track is incredibly wet down here, look. Plenty of spray off the cars in front, and they look like there's plenty more rain to come. It looks like the camera copter was heading for its landing pad. Doesn't really need to be up in the rain. We're 14 seconds off the lead now. Now we're looking to spot our braking marker. There's yellow flags ahead, so there's an incident on the track. Yes, there is. Look, they're all stationary. Overtaking prohibited. Can't make that. That would have been a... Oh, look, there's cars parked everywhere. Do we get a penalty there for that? We almost broke in front of somebody. Clears the flag now. Let's go. 16 seconds off the lead, and the rain comes again. It was the right thing to do, was break up and just not overtake at that moment. Overtaking prohibited. We have an incident on the track by the looks of it. Yes, we do. They are all over the place. Oh, and we bounce off people as well. There's nothing we could do there. It's all going Pete Tong behind us, and there's more incidents in front. Oh yes, they're all over the place. We can't overtake, so the AI cars are just lining up to get back on the circuit. Now we can overtake, so we're back with Mr. Hayward where we were, but we've increased to 6th place, so we'll be into 5th now. And we've got the power down. The 555 diff really does give you great traction in the wet. and ASM counter steer and traction control all helping. Mr. Hizal up into third place, 9 seconds behind the leaders. Oh, a tweak on the brakes. The track is incredibly low. Mr. Hayward just misses his braking point and he leaves the circuit to the left hand side. Good job, I saw him in the mirrors. Need to get to the centre of the track. Allow the car to do what it wants to do. I've got the throttle absolutely buried and the help aids are assisting here. So Mr. Portilla is away. He's obviously got the right tyres on. The track is almost only drivable in the wet tyres. Looking at where it is on the fuel map, the tyre tread, the water depth gauge is what I'm trying to say. The brain can't think quick enough. He's managed to get away as Mr. Portilla. He has not been held back by the weather at all, has he? If it wasn't for the fact that we weren't allowed to overtake, we would have been up there with him. But this rain is coming down heavy again. We have to be careful of this corner up here. As he goes round that corner, you can see the spray up ahead. We're just going to back off just a wee bit, just to make sure we negotiate this corner without any drama. Back end of the car just starting to swing about under power, so just going to back off and coast through the corner. Let the front end take it round, let it follow. Not really making any inroads on Mr. Portilla there. For the first time it's just dropped below 13. Has he carried on again? Yes, he has. But it looks like we've got the end of the rain in front of us. As we go through the chicane, he's gone through the second chicane. We can see him disappearing at the start-finish straight. There's his spray, so he's our target to catch. It looks like the end of the rain is in sight. We are 35 seconds ahead of the second place guy. And we're just closing in on Mr. Portilla. I hope he can keep up this charge, because it's going to be a very interesting fight to the end if we can keep it on the track as well as he is. I do love that bridge, it's epic. There he is, just disembraying round the corner again. Here we are for the last splash from these rain clouds. It looks like it's going to give us a good deluge before it disappears. There's people going in on softs, mediums and hards. My lord, how did they make it round? They're only going to come out on inters. That explains why we're so far ahead. We were the only two guys to choose a wet weather tyre. 9.7 seconds. Let's stick to the middle of the circuit as the sun starts to fight its way through. There's his cloud of flume, there's his mist in front of us as he drives down the track. Spray coming up from the back of the car. Let's get this braking done early. Let's make sure we've got the grip. He made it round the corner. Hoping to see yellow flags just then as I was coming round. Let's not run over that white line. 8.5 seconds down now, as the back end of the car is squealing. So we're out of the rain now. The water depth gauge, which is just below me there, is showing that intermediates are the preferred tyre, and we're on the full wet, and I think we're going to need that to the end of the next lap, to be honest. We're just going to brake in a bit early. We lost a bit of time there to Mr. Portilla. He's managed to take a second out of us there, and then on getting through that corner we took 2 out of him. Now, is that going to be it for the rain, or are we going to get more? Was that deluge all we're going to get? This is where Mr. Hayward decided to exit stage left. Well, we're slipping a little bit under braking there. Sure they'll have used a crane there to pick Mr. Hayward up. Not quite so much spray off the back of that car now. Starting to get a little bit of wear on the tyres as we're 1.5 laps into this stint. Let's check the fuel. 1.7, we're perfectly sound. And it looks like it's drying up. So did he take wets or did he take inters? Is he going to pit and go to inters? We're not. We're gonna pick and take the right tyre, which we don't know what that will be yet. If there's any more sign of rain. 6.8 seconds we're at now. It would be nice if that's the only rain we're gonna get. There's this little plume of spray. Let's chase him down. I can't see any more rain. I think we do one more lap on the wets, then we make a toss up to see whether we're gonna go into, oh, it'd be intermediates. No, it won't. It will be intermediates or mediums. That will be the choice when we do choose to pit. Unless it rains again, and that'll be full wets again. We'll know what he's going to do any moment. The track is drying up, we can see that. He's staying out. So whatever tyres on, he's preferring. Same conversations going on as in his head as they are in mine. There we go, we've got him down to less than 5 seconds. No rain on the rain radar, we've got plenty of fuel, just under half a tank. Just concentrating a little bit as I come through this corner. The rears are starting to cut up now more than the fronts. What we do know is we're both going to pit, and I do know we'll only get one lap out of a set of inters unless it's raining. If it's dry, the inters, well, if it's drying, the inters really won't be any good for any more than a lap. So I think the choice at the end of this lap is to go to the mediums again and see if we can catch this dude up. Oh, we're just braking at the very latest point we can. It's a little bit wet. We got into there nicely, even though we braked very late. Fastest lap of the race was with Mr. Sugawara at 4:25. Our opening lap was a 4:15. 4:44 is our current fastest lap on the track, but that's been affected by two massive hold-ups, one here and one back there. The track is still favourite to the intermediate tyre, but the dry line is appearing. Mr. Mangiano gone in off the wets. If we can see what tyres he comes out, that'll tell us what we're going on to. Do we get to see what tyres he comes out on? He's just about to take fuel, one would suggest. No, he gets overtaken, so we don't know what preferential tyre is going to be taken. But the rears are cutting up now. .8 seconds behind Mr. Portilla. The race is on. It is absolutely on. At the start of the race I was saying this was going to be one of the fastest cars you've got because of its size. Might have been slightly wrong with that. It's going to be the closest race we've had. The car sliding through there is very wet. It's a risk we're going to have to take though to go to the mediums. We can't go on a set of inters. We just won't have the tyre length. We won't have the wear. We are gonna have to go to slicks. Can't see any more sign of rain. We could blow it completely and it rained just on the start of lap 6 while we're in the pits and we wouldn't see it. It just flicks through some wet there. We're gonna have to be very cautious on the outlap. See how he touches the curb and flicks up some water? It is extremely wet round here. We're 16 seconds faster, but we've got half a lap of fuel and the car is everywhere. The rears are done. The rear tyres are absolutely cooked. Is he going to the pits? Yes he is. We both are. We're just 2.9 seconds down and it's extremely wet. We're gonna have to be cagey. He's on IMs, so we're going mediums. We're taking 2 laps of fuel. Excuse me for slurping. We're gonna have to take 2 laps of fuel to ensure that we are slightly ahead of Portillo. We've got more fuel than him. We need to take to 2.2 and he's got 2 seconds advantage on us. We cannot power out of the pit lane because it will be extremely wet. What tyres will he be changing to? We've made our choice. We're going straight to slicks. We're going out at 2.2, so tyres are done. He's got 71% and he's away. We've got 69%, so that's what I mean by twitchy. We've just got to go a little bit careful. There we go. He's 10 seconds ahead of us. We've got to get that back over 2 laps and we've got to do it on the dry parts of the track. There's no rain coming. These tyres will last. We've got to stay in the dry patch though, which sometimes harder said than done. Right, 9 seconds to catch him. Let's go, go, go. It's all on. We've got a little bit of fuel left for the end, so when we took 2.2 we've just got a little bit, so 8.6 seconds down. Perfect drying conditions for us to gain advantage here. Let's not try and rob too much and give ourselves a problem. Stay in the drying line. Well, win or lose, this is an absolutely fabulous little race car. It tells you exactly what's going on. 7.6. And Mr. Portillo is absolutely giving us a run for our money, braking late this time. He's been absolutely on it to give us a challenge this time. Slightly wetter the track down here where the trees overhang the circuit. We're not getting any real sunshine onto the track here later in the day. The track's taking a little bit of time to dry up. We're not really getting the opportunity to catch. It's here though where we will be getting that opportunity, and there he is. 6.6 seconds. We have to really make inroads now. Just try and give it a bit of throttle. Got to just be cautious here. The circuit is very wet. It's drying up 5.3. A little bit of turbo lag there. I'm hoping this is where we can start to make some inroads under acceleration. We've got to get this corner right. This is my worst corner on the circuit. It worked well for us there. No spray coming off his car as I saw him go around that corner. There was some though, so we're not going to hit that wet patch. We're just going to skirt around it. What we can hope here is he's on IMs and he's got to go in and pit and take the mediums or the softs, whichever one he wants. 1.3 laps of fuel. We're measuring this. He's going into the pits. He was on the wrong tyres. That's an absolute godsend. We've got a lap of victory here now. All we can't do is mess it up. So he did drop to IMs. He did keep the IMs on. We took the risk and we braved it. Absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Great little car. Stability on softs and a really wet drying track. It wasn't softs, it's inters. Yeah, it's not inters, it's mediums. Come on, sort your head out. Mr. Portilla took the fuel to run to the end of the race, but he didn't take the tyres. We were always going to catch him on a drying track at that point then. Which we lose it. So this is where it gets a bit tricky. Overconfidence. We're out onto the wet part of the circuit. We got damage. I was just about to say we've got the opportunity here to go and set the fastest lap of the race, but we then put a spin in with 36 seconds clear. We've got damage to the front wing, damage to the right. That was a shocking incident. That comes straight out of the blue. I didn't see the track get wet. We ran out too far to the left. That damage has now come free. 38 seconds in the lead, braking for this corner. We just ran marginally out too wide into a wet patch. The acceleration, we couldn't hold it. Oh, and there's the nightmare scenario we talk about. The timer's already finished. We're on lap 7. Mr. Portilla's carried on. Mr. Solis, Mr. Cookabun. Will Mr. Cookabun have to finish the race, or will he have to do the lap? Mr. Cookabun has finished the race in the pits. There's only 3 people going out to complete the race. There's 26 seconds between them. The track is almost wholly dry now. It feels a little bit damp down here where the trees are casting shadow across the circuit. Do you think I've sung this car's praises enough? It's a great little car, and it's cheap too. What I want to find next are cars that are able to do this on Fuel Map 1 and be able to, something for the AI drivers to compete with, because they're not going to be able to adjust the fuel map. They'll take the strategy and setup that are on the car and go from there. Mr. Portilla is just catching us. 26 seconds in the lead. Well, if you've hung around to watch the entirety of this video, you'll know I was excited to drive this car. I was quite looking forward to it. It's one I'd seen a couple of days ago in the shop and thought to myself, that's got to be worth a dig. Not many people will drive that thing. And lo and behold, it's turned out to be really quite a mover and a shaker. Fastest laps, not up there with the fastest of the boys, but very drivable, very controllable, apart from that one incident where we took a spin, and as you can see here, the track is still quite wet. But here we are, 0.3% on the fuel. We are going to take it in for a grandstand finish, cut the apexes here on the curbs. 27 seconds, so we've pulled out a bit more of a lead, and across the line we go. 4 minutes 30 seconds for that lap. Was that right? 4 minutes 30 seconds? Well, that's a bit of a shocker. Great looking little car, even with its bumps and grinds. 4-way flashes on. Needs a decent racing livery. Now we are 33 minutes and 4 seconds, so probably one of the slowest cars we've used. But it did encounter some wicked weather. 27 seconds ahead of Mr. Portilla. The only car not to be a lap down is Mr. Solis. Everybody else 1 lap down. And where did Mr. Hayward finish? There he is in 12th. Fastest lap of the race went to Mr. Yamanaka at 4:24 on lap 6. Did we get penalised for overtaking? No, we didn't. We didn't actually overtake and get a penalty. Thankfully, I saw that at the last minute. We're over the 17 million, so it cost us a good $500,000 to earn that car. And there she is. Well, as always, folks, thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us. What you choose to do to grind is up to you, but if this one's a good suggestion, let me know. Give me some feedback in the comments. All the best. Take care. It's like a wide-mouthed bass.